The 5 non-negotiables for success with the toughest kids. Now this is really quite meaningful because I think one of the biggest problems that teachers have is with these students that, they're really difficult to deal with. Everybody's got that one student from a class or that one terror in the grade, and everybody fears working with them. So I think this is very important for us to understand when dealing with these really difficult students. It doesn't matter where they're from, what their situation is, why they're acting out. They are acting out, and how should we as teachers deal with them? Never take it personally. Never take it personally. I think one of the biggest things as teachers is that if we encounter a difficult student, they try your patience, right? They actually say things to get a rise out of you, because that's the only way that they get attention. So they might say something or do something to actually get an emotional reaction from you. And because you are the adult in the room and you are the leader, you're the teacher, the last thing you should do is have an emotional reaction to something. So don't take it personally. You think, are they attacking me? They're singling me out. That's not the case. What you do want to do is if you're in a situation where a student tests you, you want to stay calm and unresponsive and focus on the behavior or focus on the rules, and don't take it personally. I think that's a very good tip. Number 2, second to last word is best. Second to last word is best. Okay, what does this mean? It means that you don't want to be the last one speaking. So if you have a problem with a student, and they're talking and they're saying something to you, you're having an argument, you don't want to end it to be like, this is my final word. You want them to either apologize or to accept that their behavior was wrong. So they should be the last one to say. So you can say, Johnny, what did you do? So nothing, sir. I'm like, well, that's not what I see over there. Can you tell me what I did? Sorry, sir, this is what happened. Good. That means that you're in a place of strength. If you always have to have the last say, it just shows that you come from a place of weakness. So try not to be the last one to respond. I mean, this isn't a fixed rule, but just think about it this way. If you're going to talk to a student, you want them to finish on a place. If you have an argument, you want to rebuild the relationship, and you want them to finish by acknowledging that they were wrong, or they want to apologize for their action. Okay. Number 3, private is better than public. This is fantastic advice. This is really good. See, a lot of students, they act out in class because they want their attention. They act out, they want you to react to them. So the best thing you can do in many situations is to isolate the student. For example, if a student does something wrong in class, you can say, okay, Timmy, I want to speak to you after class. And then like, oh, sir, it's way better than seeing them privately where they don't have an audience and you have a position of power, than trying to settle debates or arguing in front of other students, because then they feel, oh, I'm being watched, and that gives them more power and it makes you less powerful. So if possible, if you have a problem with a student, do it privately. Take them aside and talk to them, or get them to see you later. Okay, that's really important. Okay, number 4, negotiation is good. What does that mean? Negotiation. We should have strict rules, and we should have certain boundaries. That is perfect. I think as adults, as teachers, we have to enforce those boundaries. But if we can actually negotiate with students, it actually makes them feel like part of the learning process. A student can hand in their work. You say, okay, well, Lisa, you need to hand this in. I expect it very soon. I expect it within the next week. And she can be, if she has a legitimate excuse and she says, oh, teacher, I'm really busy, but is it okay if I give it to you maybe next Wednesday? And then you say, well, yes. And that means that you reached an agreement. They don't feel like your authority figure just telling them what to do. They feel they're part of the process. And if you can instill that with students, that's fantastic. But a little caveat. A lot of teachers actually go and they think, oh, I'm negotiating. Negotiation comes from a place of strength. If you give in to student demands, that is not negotiating. That is capitulating. Beautiful word. The act of negotiation, really good. Remember, you want to include the students in the process of learning. And also, that gives them a part of the responsibility. It makes them part of the decision-making process instead of just, your underlings. Okay, but they are really. Number 5, walking away is a strength. Most of us grow up and we have this idea that the teacher is the ultimate authority. They can make anything happen. They can make any student do anything at any time. But there are times when you have to walk away, where you have to ignore what was said and then attend to it at another time. Let me give you an example. Let's say it's after school and there's something going on. 2 boys are fighting, and you get there and one of the boys actually swears at you or says something, and then you say something back to them, and suddenly they want to argue with you about it. So what you have to do is take their names, think about, and walk away. Why? You don't want to lose your face. You don't want to lose your power in front of those students. At that time, it doesn't make sense to argue with them and try and get them to do what you want them to do. It's just not going to happen. You have to look at the situation and see, well, this kid is in public, he's with his friends, there's no way I'm going to get him to do what I want. I'll just take his name, ignore him, walk away. Then face the battle where you are stronger. So then you can, the next day or after the weekend, you can call them in and actually have a one-on-one discussion with them. It's like that scene from Star Wars where Obi-Wan Kenobi says, don't do it, I have the high ground, right? Like Sun Tzu, you want to fight a battle, you don't want to fight a battle at a disadvantage. Make sure that when you're in that environment, that you come from a place of strength and that you can win. Another situation, let's say you're in public or in front of the school gates and a student comes in with their uniform, doesn't look up to scratch, and you start arguing with them, but there are parents around, there are other students, and instead of getting into a shouting match with the student and arguing, just say, I would like to speak to you later. Which class are you in? Okay, come and see me later. That way you save face and you don't lose that advantage, and you can still have that in your classroom later. To engage on your own territory, don't fight where you might lose power.